Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for attending our today webinar. Uh, this webinar is the very first episode of our Telekey and Givens office in 2025. As a very first episode of 2025, we, the Office of Myanmar Telekey and Givens, will present the first very episode of 2025. Before we start our presentation, please allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Kinza Jijowe. You can call me as Kinza. I'm an associate from our Telekey and Givens Myanmar office. And the another person is our senior, Miss Kim Yu. Yeah. And so today our presentation is about the trademark examination and office action news update under the new trademark law of Myanmar 2019. Before we go into our agenda of today's title, please allow me to explain about briefly of our trademark law and the new trademark system. As you maybe know, the trademark law was enacted in January 13, 2019, and it was enforced in April 1st, 2023. All of the new applications are eligible to file through the Intellectual Property Department IPD, starting from April 26, 2023. I think you all may know what is the April 26 or 2023. Yes, this is the grand opening period of the new filing application. All trademark application must file to the IPD if you would like to enjoy the statutory provisions of trademark law given under the new trademark system. Otherwise, if you don't find the application under the new trademark system of new law, you won't be able to obtain any exclusive right given by the trademark law and trademark system. This is just a brief explanation about the trademark law 2019 and the brief about the trademark system. If you would like to read the whole version of the trademark law and trademark rules in English version, please be free to visit at the Intellectual Property Office official website at www.impd.gov.mm, and you can find under the trademark tab and under the tab of trademark laws and rules, and you can download the English version. And please be free to read if you are interested the full version of English. Okay, so as I mentioned about the brief of the trademark law and new trademark system, please let me introduce about today's agenda. Let me go to the slide. Yeah, this is the content of today's agenda. We will have five main title about today's topic, which are the overview of the requirement of trademark application and initial examination and issuance of office notification and response to office notification and examination process. And the last is publication and registration stage. Before going to the overview of the requirement of trademark application, what do you think? What are the formality requirements to file a trademark application to the Intellectual Property Department IPD? Let's see what are the formality requirements for filing a new trademark application to the IPD. Please let me go to the slide. This is the overview of the requirements for filing a trademark application. The trademark application, these are the formality of the trademark application. Any applicant who would like to file a trademark application to the IPD, these are the requirements for filing a trademark application, and these are the formality requirements in accordance with Section 16 and 17 of the trademark law. The first one is a request for a registration. That's called TM1 form. And the second is the details of an applicant, such as name, address, and legal entity of an applicant. The third one is company registration number if it is filed by an entity, or national security card number of an applicant if it is filed as an individual, and a clear representation of the mark, and the details of the list of goods and service and a WIPO needs classification, and appointment of representative form, that's called TM2 form. At here, please note that the TM2 form must be notarized by the notary public of the applicant incorporation that's saturated. And the final one is, of course, the filing fee. The filing fee for filing the application in accordance with the guideline of the IPD is MMK 150,000 JPY. That is equivalent to USD 72 per class. These are the formal requirements and formality requirements for filing a new trademark application to the IPD. Please make sure you meet the application with the formality requirements to overcome any further notification or any further delay examination stage of the IPD. So please allow me to go to next slide. This is the initial examination. Once your application has been submitted to the application, then what step will be followed? Of course, the initial examination. The initial examination normally include such as formality requirements that I previously mentioned and the absolute ground for the refusal in accordance with Section 13 of the Trademark Law. So let's see for the initial examination. These are the initial examination. Once the application filed to the IPD, then the application were reviewed by the examiner of the IPD to ensure whether it meets the formality requirements and absolute ground for refusal in accordance with the Section 23 of the Trademark Law. If your application is apply and if complying with the formality requirements and absolute ground, what will be the next step? Of course, your application will be accepted by the IPD. If your application is accepted, it will be published for public inspection and information, allowing any third parties to file opposition. This opposition period is for 60 days. That can object or concern about the application can be raised. Please note that the opposition period is 60 days and there is no time extendable for filing for the opposition. If your application does not meet the formality requirements and absolute ground, of course, you will be receiving a notification that issued from the office of the IPD. A notification is normally issued to the applicant that find any deficiencies or missing information, as I mentioned in the formality requirements or any absolute ground. The notification, what kinds of notification will be issued by the IPD? Normally, the notification will specify the necessary requirements and the further amendment or clarification that does not meet the formality requirements and absolute ground of the IPD. Then the applicant must be fulfilled to proceed with the application by filing the specified response file. Typically, applicants are given a specific time frame to address the issues and resubmit the corrected application for further examination stage of the IPD. What is the specific time frame to address these kinds of notification? The specific time frame given by the Trademark Law and Trademark Rules is 30 days from the notification date. Please note that the notification date also include public holidays and weekends also. These are the initial examination for your information and reference. So please let me go to the next slide. These are the issuance of office notification. What kinds of notification is issued by the IPD when your application is submitted? Let's see. These are the issuance of the office notification issued by the IPD. The first notification of examination objection. Once you have submitted the application to the IPD will examine other formality requirements and absolute ground, such as whether the application is regarded as registrable mark or non-registrable mark under Section 13 and 14 of the Trademark Law. The other will be followed, such as verification of the address and authorized person in the response file, such as application file TM1 and appointment or representative TM2, something like that. According to the IPD notification, the IPD has been issuing the notification starting from the middle of February 2024 up to the present. Based on our current experience, we have been receiving the notification for the applications filed in 2020 and 2021 application. We assume that beyond the 2021 applications are pending and further examination of the IPD as of today. If you receive such notification of the IPD examination, what will you need to do? Of course, you have to apply and you have to submit to respond the office notification of the IPD within the specific time frame. The specific time frame is 30 days from the notification date. Or once you receive a notification, please make sure to submit the response file with a specified response file that meets the further amendment and requirement in the notification. You must imply and you must comply the requirements for further amendment to submit to the IPD. If you comply the necessary amendment or further revise in line with the IPD notification, then you can submit to the IPD with the prescribed response file within the 30 days period. After that, your submitted response file will be examined under the final review of the examination. If after first notification of the examination, the second notification will follow. What is the second notification? The second notification are typically not issued by the IPD. However, starting from this month, we have been receiving such a second notification from the IPD. Before this month, we have been informed by the IPD by email or phone for the additional amendment on our submitted response that submitted for the first notification of the examination objection of the IPD. Once you receive the second notification that require the additional amendment or clarification, please make sure you prepare the proper response file in line with the IPD notification, like first notification you prepare and submit to the IPD within 30 days of the notification. Once you submitted the second notification, the IPD will assess with further examination. Then the third notification will be received by you. What is the third notification? If your application meet the formality requirements, then your application will be published and will be included in the IPD monthly publication. That is called acceptance of the publication of the mark in IPD monthly publication. Please note that starting from May 1st, 2024, the IPD has been issuing and has been published their monthly publication on the first date of each month. This is allowing any third party to consider and to check whether the applications are in line and the details and find the opposition within the specific time. The specific time frame for filing an opposition is 60 days from the publication date. And after your application has included in the IPD publication, if no further opposition has been raised by any third party, then you will be receiving the full notification. That's called registration fee payment notification. If any person who would like to find opposition to the application, any third party can file with the prescribed form such as TM8 form. That's called request for the opposition and prescribed fee. That is MMK 150,000 JET. That is equivalent to USD 72 within such 60 days. If no further opposition is raised by any third party, your application are considered that you pass the publication of the IPD and you will be receiving a full notification. That's called payment for the registration fee. Once you have received such a notification for paying the registration fee payment, please make sure you submit the registration fees and the prescribed registration fee form within the 60 days period. Please note that the registration fee notification is not extendable, and you are not able to find any time extension except 60 days period. So once you submitted the prescribed fee forms and registration fee, you will be receiving in compliance with the fifth notification. Once you have submitted the notification, the registration fee payment, the examiner of the IPD will review in line with their internal procedures and their internal guideline whether the registration fees are compliant with their internal guideline and the fee payments. The fee payment is USD 72 per class, which is equivalent to MMK 150,000 JET. And once you have complied such requirements for registration fee payment, you will be receiving a fifth notification. That is the certificate or trademark in digital format. As you may know, the IBD has been issuing their registration certificate starting from December 1st, 2024, in electronic certificate. This is the overview of the issuance or office notification that normally issued by the IBD. There are the total 5 notifications that normally received by an applicant if no further oppositions are raised by any third party. So please let me go to the next slide. This is the response to office notification. Once you receive such an office notification, what kinds of office notification you need to respond? Let's see. These are the guidelines for responding and filing the amendment or clarification to the office issued notification. The first one, you submit the notification, you submit the response file for the notification. Please ensure that you ensure to submit the notification within 30 days in accordance with Rule 21 of the Trademark Rule. For filing the response form to the application, please make sure you use the designated response form. For response file, you can be downloaded at the IPD official website at Trademark tab and also Form tab. If you are interested for looking for the response file, you can go and find at the IPD official website for the response file. For response file, for any amendment or clarification, please make sure that you comply and you are in line with the IPD office notification to respond the office notification of the examination notification. Then only it will prevent your examination any delays during the examination stage of the IPD. To prevent examination delay, you are adhere strictly to the submission guideline and timelines of the IBD notification. What is the timeline of the notification? The timelines of the notification is 30 days from the notification date. That will also include public holidays and weekend days as well. If you are not able to find the response to the IPD within the such time limit, what will you need to do? Of course, you have to request for time extension to the IPD. What is the request for time filing the time extension? If you require to find any extension, or if you cannot collect any evidence or any further clarification within the first notification of the IPD 30 days, if you require, you can request for filing a time extension for another 30 days. According to the Rule 102 of the Trademark Rule, there will be total 4 times 30-day extension given to any applicant in accordance with the Trademark Rule. Therefore, any applicants are eligible to obtain. The total is 120 days extension. That will be up to 4 times. Please note that these were including public holidays and weekend day as well. These are the basic steps and these are the basic steps to ensure and to find the response and amendment of the office notification of the IBD. I hope that by following the above step, it will help to ensure a smooth and timely examination process. I hope you will understand about the guidelines and response for amendment. So please let me go to the next slide. These are some office action issued by the IBD. I think all of the attendee would like to know and would like to interest maybe what kinds of notification is going to issue by the IBD. Before we receiving any notification from the IBD, we also have been curious on what kind of notification the IBD will issue on our application. So based on our experience, we have been receiving such kinds of notification from the IBD, such as a color claim and specific terms on our submitted list of goods and notarized TM2 form and disclaimer and any separating semicolon on our list of goods and submission and the final one is absolute ground for the refusal. These are only based on our current experience, and this may be vary on each of the examiner point of view and each of the representative and applicant and applications. So please allow me to go for the sample of office notification. The first one is color claim. These are the color claim. These are the guidelines. For example, if a mark is comprised of or composed with any color combination, then the applicant must find and must submit for the color claim in accordance with Rule 4E of the trademark rule. This is the example of our tally key and Gibbons logo for your clarification and for your reference. As you may see, once you look our tally key and Gibbons mark, what do you think? What kinds of color are combining in our tally key and Gibbons logo? According to our preliminary view, you can see that there will be 3 color combination: white, dark blue, and red. So we mentioned as the color claim will be dark blue, red, and white. And for the color description, we use the very simple sentence like the mark used, dark blue for tally key and Gibbons, red for the word and white as the background. This is just for sample, and you may use any other sentence that fit for your preparation. We just use for the simple sentence for our clarification and for your information. These are the color claim. So once your application is include any color combination on your mark, please make sure you use the color claim that submit to the IPD. Otherwise, a potential notification regarding for the color claim may arise at the time of the examination stage of the IPD. Then the next one is disclaimer. These are the guidelines for the disclaimer. What kind of disclaimer are normally sent in the office notification of the IPD? Any mark that contains the terms, words, images lacking distinctiveness or descriptiveness in line with the section 13 of the trademark law, such as absolute ground, that may be required to disclaim for such terms, words, or images. And also additionally, like slogan and also packaging design or labeling that affix on the mark are also required to be disclaimed in accordance with the guideline of the IPD, because some of the labels are included, such as ingredient that affix on the mark of the application. Such kinds of application are not acceptable and normally sent for the disclaimer for such terms and words and images by the IPD. If you are agreed with the disclaimer, that is fine. However, if you do not agree with the disclaimer, what will you need to do? Please make sure that if you are not agree with the disclaimer of the office notification of the IPD, please make sure you provide the evidence of use of the mark in the country, especially in the market of Myanmar and other countries, for the use of the mark and registration certificate that granted in any other countries. Except this evidence of you are also eligible to submit as an evidence of use, such as market survey, customer feedback of the use of the mark, and the affidavit. The affidavit that show the credible evidence of the use of the mark. However, please note that this is just for the clarification and amendment for filing to the IPD. However, we may require waiting the further examination stage of the IPD or such kinds of evidence of use, because each of the examiner point of view depend on each of their point of view and discretion and case-by-case basis. So the decision and discretion of each examiner may be vary on case-by-case basis. So after disclaimer, what kinds of notification we normally receive is notarized TM2 form. Normally, according to the guideline of the IPD official, their TM2 must be notarized by the notary public of the applicant incorporation. For example, if application is filed, if the applicant is in Japan, you must notarize by the notary public of the Japan. Otherwise, you will be receiving a potential notification of the IPD. This is the current one of the notification that we normally receive from the IPD. The other one is separating semicolon between list of the goods of the services For example, something like if you separate a semicolon between the item of each of the legal goods and services, normally the examiner issue a notification and request the applicant to separate or to divide the semicolon between each item. This is also one of the current notification that we receive. Except these two, there will be another one. That is the specific terms on the general description. The IBD does not accept the application with the generic term and will request you with a notification to replace the generic term with a specific term or to remove or specify the broad terms with a specific line. For example, you find an application at international class 35. Let's say if you find an application and are class certified and your legal goods, your submitted legal good includes something like international class 34, blah, 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 something like. Then the examiner of the IPD will issue a notification to specify for the specific terms or to remove such international class certified because that considered as a broad terms in accordance with their internet guideline. And they will request you to specify the exact goods and services instead of general classification. This is also our current notification that we receive from the IPD. And the last one will be the absolute ground for the refusal. For issuing such kind of notification, these are the key consideration of the IPD. Once your application is submitted to the IPD, the application will check under absolute ground in accordance with the section 13. If any application that fall under absolute ground in accordance with section 13, then the application are considered as non-registrable mark. If any mark that contain like the terms, the word, or images lacking distinctiveness may require a disclaimer that normally issue in accordance with the section 13 A and B of the trademark law. That's called absolute ground for the refusal. If you receive such kind of notification of the IPD, what will you need to do? Of course, you have to find the evidence for the trademark for the evidence of the use if you disagree with the disclaimer. That is advisable to overcome for the refusal. Besides the evidence of the trademark use, what kinds of evidence that you can collect? Like I previously mentioned, for example, affidavit that show the evidence of the use and the market survey and the customer feedback or any other like advertisement or any other cautionary notice that show the evidence of use and well known in the market of the Myanmar, especially in Myanmar, and any other registration certificate that's granted for the registration at any other countries. These are the current evidence of trademark of use for submitting to the IBD. For example, we have created a trademark for just for your information. This is just a created word and this is just a created mark by ourselves, just for your information and reference. For example, if an applicant find a trademark name that's called OK Tape, and you find the legal goods under class 16 with an adhesive tape made from various material, then you will be receiving a notification from the examiner that requests you to disclaim the word tape that contained in the application due to the descriptive nature of the application. If you in that situation, if you are agree with such kind of notification, you can disclaim that you are receiving or you are obtaining and you are disclaiming such kind of word as a tape. If you are not agree with such kind of words, then what will you need to do? Of course, as I mentioned above, or as I mentioned previously, you will need to collect the required information for the evidence of use, such as registration certificate at any other country, the evidence or trademark of the use in the market of Myanmar, and any survey or any customer feedback of the well-known of the mark to submit to the IPD. However, please note that this is only based on our our experience, and that may be vary on each of the examiner view. Although we find such kind of evidence of the use to the IPD, however, we require waiting further examination stage of the IPD on such kind of decision. Because as I mentioned, each of the examiner views are depend on each of their discretion and internet guidelines and their internet SOP that keep confidential and that do not disclose for any third party. Then there will be another for examination process. Okay, once your application is submitted to the IPD, then you will be receiving such kind of response. Then you find the response file with a proper time and proper limit within 30 days. Then your examination will review for the further final review of the examination stage of the IPD. The examination process and procedure will be held by my seniors, Miss Kim Yu.
Thank you, Kenza. And under this slide, we are going to share with you about the examination process, starting from the application and until we obtain the registration certificate for trademark under the trademark law. Most of the information and the overview of the information has been already shared by my colleagues, but I just want to share with you about the process of the whole application. So for the straightforward registration, it is very simple and pretty much the same as other country. Like after you submit your trademark application, you can be obtain the filing date and application date within 2 or 3 days, some kind like that. Once IP office received the trademark applications, they will start the formality examination. If your application are compliant with formality requirement specified under the trademark law, it will be published for 60 days, allowing any third party to oppose to your application. If no one opposed to your application within 60 days from the date of publication, you can get the notification and to pay the registration fees for that application. Then after you complete the payment of registration fees, you can obtain the registration certificate issued by the IP office within 2 months. This is a simple and straightforward registration process. Otherwise, after the formality examination stage of the IP office, if your application is not compliant with formality requirement, IP office will send the office action to comply with the additional requirements of your application. Then you need to address them within 30 days or applying for time extension, some kind like that, to complete your requirement, which is my college has already shared with you. And if the examiner is satisfied with your response, the application will be published for 60 days, allowing third-party opposition. If not, you will be receiving a second notification from the IP office, as we previously informed. If anyone opposed your application within 60-day publication period, the IP office will examine the party opposition application. Then the applicant will be received the notification from the IP office about the opposition. Then the application will be examined for the substantive examination based on the trademark law and trademark rules. If third-party opposition is rejected by the IP office, your application will be processed for the registration steps. During the application process and examination process, if you are not satisfied with any decision made by the registrar, you can apply for an appeal to the IP agency within 60 days from the date of decision. In addition, if you further unsatisfied with decision of the IP agency, you are entitled to apply for an appeal to the Supreme Court within 90 days from the date of decision. This is the summary and overview of the application process until the registration of the trademark. Just for your information, under the trademark law, until now, there are more than 6,000 trademarks have already been registered under the trademark law. This list of trademark can be searched under the IBD official website that any third party can publicly search for those information. Yes, and we will go through for the publication step. Then my colleague will continue the presentation.
Thank you, Manu. Yeah. Before we start the publication stage, what is the publication stage? As my senior Ms. Kim Mui has previously explained the flow chart, and as I previously clarified, I think once your application has been compliant with the formality requirements and in line with the further examination office notification of the IBD, and if no further requirements are no further amendments are required, and that in line with their internal guideline, then your publication will be included in the IBD publication. So let's see what is the publication. This is the IBD very first IBD publication that upload and that published in their IBD website. As I previously mentioned, the IBD has been published the first publication starting from May 1st, 2024. This is the very first journal, which called Journal TM/2024/01. You can access at the IBD official website under the trademark tab and then publication tab, and you can access for the IBD publication. So let's see the publication content. These are the contents of the publication contents. What will be included in the publication content, such as application number, filing date, the details of the applicant information, such as the name and address of the applicant, and the details of the representative if it is filed with a representative, and the visual of textual representation of the trademark, and the application type and color claim, if any, and any disclaimer, and translation or transliteration of the trademark if the mark is comprised with non-English or non-Myanmar language, and priority, if any, and the details of the list of goods and classification. These are the details of the information that include in the IBD trademark publication. What will you do if the IBD publish your application? You have to wait the 60 days period starting from the IBD publication date, whether you receive any potential opposition within such time, or you may require to oppose any third party if you have any concern or any further oppositions are required. If you would like to submit any opposition to any third party that may concern, you may require to file with the prescribed form that called TM8 form. That you can also access such form at the IBD official website under trademark tab and font tabs. You can see and you can download for the sample of the opposition file. Once you have received such file, you are prepared the required contents that have to fit in such TM8 file. That's called request for the opposition and prescribed fee. The prescribed fee is MMK 150,000 JPY. That is equivalent with USD 72 in accordance with the IBD notification. Then you can submit for the opposition. If any application that have no opposition periods or that pass the trademark that pass the IBD trademark publication, then you will be receiving another notification. Let's see what will you receive if no further opposition, or if your application is past the publication stage of the IBD. Of course, you will be receiving a registration notification that issued from the IBD. Please make sure that you receive such notification issued by the IBD, and you make sure to submit that registration fees and together with the registration form within such time limit that called 60 days period. Please note that there is no time extension for the registration fee payment. So please make sure you focus on the such notification of the registration notification of the IBD, and make sure to pay the registration fee and forms of the IBD. Please note that for the registration form, you are also able to access at the IBD official website with the full content of the registration form and the registration fee also. Once you receive the registration notification, what will you need to do? You have to find the registration fees and form to the intellectual property IBD department IBD. The registration fee form for submitting to the IBD is USD 72 per class. That is equivalent to 150,000 Myanmar Kyat per class. And you can find the registration fee payment together with the registration fee and form to the IBD. Once you have submitted such fine and such registration fee, the examiner of the IBD will assess whether your registration fees and forms are compliant with their internet guideline and registration fee guidelines and registration form. Once you have passed the such internet guidelines and procedure, you will be obtaining a registration certificate that called registration certificate, the issuance of the registration certificate. These are the registration certificate sample. Once your application is fully complete and fully applying with the registration fee payment and registration form, then you will be obtaining such kinds of registration certificate that issue under the trademark law of Myanmar. So let's see what is included in the registration certificate. It includes such as registration number and the date and mark and the details of the applicant and the filing date, classification, and the QR code. The left side of the certificate, you can scan to read the full details of the list of goods of your submitted application and your registration. So these are also the registration certificate for your information, the details of the registration certificate. As you may know, the IBD has been issuing the registration certificate in electronic method, that called electronic certificate, that issue in either Myanmar and English language. And registration number, registration date, mark name, the details of the applicant, the filing date, and class QR code to read the details of their list of group. Please note that the certifying true copy for the registration certificate is applicable by any applicant in accordance with trademark law and rules. However, as of today, for applying the certificate true copy is under the process of the IBD, and we require waiting further examination of the IBD. We hope you enjoy our today presentation, and this is all about our today title. If you have any question, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.